Now, this probably won't be very professional, but this might help somebody else. This is the third door seatbelt on a 1997 GM Sierra K1500. It's going to cover so many years and models it isn't funny. And what the problem was is I couldn't get the seatbelt to come out. It does now, okay? And basically what, let's see here. Let me change the angle a little bit. So what's going on here is, in an accident, this little weight gets thrown forward, you know, in some kind of angle. And what that does is that pushes that lever. You know, the weight goes, that's the forward front of the truck there. Weight goes forward, and, you know, this thing moves fine until that. Now, as typical with these, or the way it's normally set up, is once you extend the seat so far, you hear that ratcheting? Okay, that's because the little cam system in here has now pushed this against that lever, and it's clicking against the ratchet. And so that's why when, you know, you're sitting there, it's frustrating as hell when you're, you know, ratchet's down too tight on you kind of thing. You got to let it go all the way in. Here it release. That's because the cam kicked over, and now you can pull it back out. So let's. This ended up in the wrong spot. No clue how or why. It's a used vehicle. So who knows what owner, if any of them. So I am going to very gingerly pop that out. Okay. Now there's arrows here and here. They probably mean something. So this section right here hits this tab. Okay. And so what's going on is, when that is allowed in like that, that's when this thing ratchets and it catches the pawl there, the gear, the teeth, the ratchet, whatever. So there's a little gear on the end of the belt here. It's pretty sloppy, but anyway, you want this lever pulled away, okay, and then it won't press on that that lever, that ratchet stop pawl. I think that's the pawl. Anyway, so you can see there's a detent there, and this can go all the way around and almost to another detent there. And I should have paid more attention as I pulled it apart. I figured it out the first time, but anyway, what it looks like is when you're in, there's no slice in the plastic here to let you get it off the belt so you can deal with this, so it's a pain in the butt. But anyway, this is about in the parked position. And in the parked position, I want it to have pushed this pawl up into this spot so I can come all the way out here. And what's going to happen is while that little gear rotates, it's pushing it around in this direction as it's coming out. That part right there will catch that and push that over like that, and then it'll lock up. And that's when you have to let it go all the way back in. And as it goes back in, this little yellow piece is turning counterclockwise, and that piece comes over and pushes this down so that when it gets down into this area, nearly fully parked, it has pushed that pawl to disengage. It's pushed that little tab there on the cam to disengage the pawl. Okay, gravity holds it away. So what I'm going to do is, while it's here, you'll notice that little leaf spring right there across the top. If I'm zoomed in good enough. Yeah, I think you can see all that well enough. So what I'm going to do is, while it's in this spot, I just had to figure out and guess on that, but as far as this goes, I think the arrows would line up at that point. Okay, and what that's going to do is that's going to make sure that that pawl is at least, let's see here, probably somewhere right about there. Okay, and that's fine. So I'm going to put it up here because just because. And so then you want to get it to push the leaf spring up a little bit, get the gear down on the tooth there, and then just snap it back on. Okay, so I can retract. You can tell that might have been a hair too far. Oh yes, nice. Okay, that stays there. That's even better than when I had it set the first time. So when it comes all the way out, then it, yeah, so this means that you won't have to, let me zoom out here a little bit. Okay, where we're sitting here is, okay, that's basically fully retracted, and the cam is not, it's pushing this out, okay, which is what we want. So that's keeping the pawl from catching on the ratchet on the teeth, okay. And anywhere in the normal user range, it should adjust. Now, granted, in a wreck, that's going to catch, okay. But for the adjustment, I don't know about you, but I can't stand that when it ratchets down and then you got to undo the seat belt, put it all the way in just so you can get it back out to where you want it. Okay, so here, if it gets pulled all the way out, you can watch that cam right there. And I am almost at the limit of the seat belt there when I did that. And now, at that point, I've got to come all the way back in. But I don't have to come in all the way, okay? So that means you're not going to have to bottom out this piece at the slot on the door in order to get it to release for you. Okay, so I kind of like that. Now that I know what I'm doing, this could get adjusted a bit. And yes, you can put something in those two holes. I did this. I put a little some needle nose in there and turned it left or right, and so you can get some fine adjustment there. But keep in mind that spring is holding it against the gear, and there's the potential of stripping out those plastic teeth inside this yellow piece here. So I kind of like this. I'm going to go ahead and put it back together and see about putting it back in the truck. And there's plenty of other videos out there on how to remove these things and stuff like that. It's pretty easy. There's, a T50 Torx bolt at the top and at the bottom, which is under where I'm clamped right here in the vise. The only other thing is in order to put this back together, okay. What a pain in the butt. Okay, so that part has to be down. There's two tabs on the top here that have to go in first, and then this, and then that'll snap. And there's supposed to be a rivet right there holding that. I don't know that I'm going to put the rivet in just yet, or ever. Somebody was prying around in here and broke the housing, and this is my attempt to save myself having to spend $300 on a new set of seatbelts. Yeah. And since the plastic on the other side snaps into positions, here, let me just turn it around here for a second. All right, so top one was never an issue. Let's flip it over to the other side. So this is what I'm talking about. There's snaps here and that stuff. So what I'm thinking is I might be able to just simply snap that and call that good enough, and not put the rivet back in. I don't have any rivets that small anyway, but if it becomes an issue, I'll get a rivet and put it in there. This is the guide for the upper one. And oh, it goes down a little lower. Does it? Can I snap it in? Nope. It's got to go over the metal here. Okay, so, and then what I got to do is I got to go ahead and pry that back off gingerly, because there's a long tab here, and if you don't pull it out from behind the material, the metal, you're just gonna, if you just try to pull it straight out, you're going to snap it off. Okay, so let's pull out a little extra. Let's run that plastic back up there. And then I'm pretty sure, oh, there's no room for it there, so it's just going to have to, oh, there was, it does catch there, so, so, okay. Come on. Obviously, I'm not familiar with this or know what I'm doing, so that's there we go. Okay. Now that piece can't come out. That's the guide for it. It's snapped over there. Now we need to go ahead and put that back under there and snap that side in. And the plastic's pretty soft and forgiving. It's not extremely brittle, but it will break, obviously, as you can see from that. This angle might work okay here. I've got it just resting on the windowsill. So that's basically where it's going to be sitting. Okay, if you pull it all the way out and then ratchet and then catch it, it's going to ratchet down on you. Okay, and I'm really glad I got it set so that it doesn't catch until it's all the way out, because, you know, so basically you can pull it out. Oh, not too far. Arms are too short to get around my belly to snap that in with my right arm. Anyway, so now you've got adjustment. Okay, you've got movement there, and like I showed you with that weight, that'll kick forward in an accident, whether you're hit from behind, forward, front, side, whatever, and that'll cause it to lock up. But you don't have to. The passenger won't typically. Oh, see, I pulled it out a little too far there, and now it's going to ratchet down. And if you like that sucked into the seat feeling, you know, it's available. But I think that ought to do it. The belt's actually in a little bit better shape than I thought it was. So I just saved myself. I was ready to put in an order for $300-something bucks, and just replace both front seat belts. And I can now spend that money on something else. Maybe putting new seat upholstery on here. The two front seats are well worn. It's an old truck, so if I can, that'd work good. I think that's my project for the day.